It is time again to talk about the good old fantasy football world and the universe that displays of the awesomeness of the Baltimore Ravens. We're going to continue talks of the AFC North. We got here Will, my buddy Will, supporting the, what are we calling that? The three button down short list.
T-shirt?
I don't know how many t-shirts. How many t-shirts do you have that's got three button down? Like, this is a t-shirt. This is considered.
I don't know,
a t-shirt.
5, 6.
You have
maybe?
5, 6?
Yeah, I like them.
Yeah. Okay, all right, cool. And you get the Star Wars spiel going back there.
Oh yeah, welcome to Fantasy Football Free for All, and we are hitting the Baltimore Ravens.
He
hard.
ignores it. He's just like, don't talk about my Star Wars in the book.
I like Star Wars. What do you want from me, man? I got a Stan Lee signed Thor's hammer, and then I've got the Infinity Gauntlet. Super
Beautiful.
nerd over here, and
Beautiful.
That's why we're talking about fantasy
Beautiful.
football.
And that's why we're talking about our Star Wars fantasy lineup.
Yep.
As opposed to our fantasy football lineup. But anyway, we're talking about the Baltimore Ravens. The old Brownies, which in the last episode you guys heard us. We have too much Brownie love over on the other side of the screen here.
The playoff team.
Versus, oh dear mother, the last time the Browns went to the playoffs, which was when Fuamatu Malafala just destroyed them and just destroyed their dreams. I don't know if anyone can remember that. I was over in Canton, Ohio when it happened. It was beautiful. Absolutely.
All right.
Tim
So,
Couch
let's move
can
this
go
on.
back to the locker room. And
Quarterback, Lamar Jackson. Stud. That is
Yes.
what needs to be said.
Yes.
He will have some touchdown regression, but he is still the 1 or 2 fantasy football quarterback. He is being drafted. If you're going to take a flyer on him in the 3rd round, nobody can say anything. He proved his value. He is a stud. I think that running quarterbacks naturally have some risk associated with them just because they're having more contact. But that doesn't mean that there is anything that goes here and justifies not taking him if he's available and you feel very strongly about wanting him on your team. I think that he will, he was by 40 points last year. He was the best quarterback on the board. I also think that, I'm personally a Patrick Mahomes apologist. I think Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league, but I can't argue with anybody that goes, Lamar Jackson. I just can't. He has shown huge jumps from his rookie year to his sophomore year, and I think he can continue that. He's got RG3 behind him, who has a
keep eating Subways.
Well, RG3, people give him a lot of for where he is, but I think that he is, a really solid backup quarterback. So RG3 is, he's a player that can continue the scheme of Lamar Jackson. He's not as good as Lamar Jackson. He's not, but they can continue to play the same style of football.
He should have stayed in Washington.
He shouldn't have stayed in Washington. What, you want to be a part of the Washington football team? Undraftable, don't get me wrong. But as a football player, I think that he's making huge strides.
Yeah, I'd rather have him than whatever circus fest we got going on with our backups that we're going to steal.
Yeah, me too. So hopping over to, let's hit wide receiver next. We've got a very, very crowded wide receiver room here, especially because Lamar Jackson isn't exactly the most accurate passer, and he's going to run with his legs as opposed to I don't know what else, but because he's going to run, it makes it hard to want too many of these guys. I think your wide receiver 1 on this team is pretty clear. Marquise Hollywood Brown, and then Miles Boykin.
What up, Hollywood?
But
I was just
neither of these guys are folks that I'm taking in the top 6 rounds. They're later round wide receivers.
Yeah. If it wasn't for Marquise's, give me the keys to the Marquise's. If it wasn't for Marquise's, the possession of the injury, the foot injury that he had last year, which had a big setback into his performance. He was on pace to be a stellar top 5 wide receiver last year. He's just
not getting enough targets.
But he's so tiny. He's this small little dude, and he just
He's so
I mean,
fast.
there's supposedly, though, that he put on 10 or 15 pounds of muscle, which is fine, solid. I get it. Yes, he's ridiculously fast. I want to see him and Tyreek Hill in a foot race to see who wins a 40-yard dash. But his playmaking ability is sick. He can get open. He's a great route runner. All this jazz, blah, blah, blah. It's what Lamar Jackson loves all about him. And he needs to stay healthy.
Yes.
And we will see what happens. It's great that he bulked up a little bit. We'll see.
Remember, that was his rookie season. This is his second year in the league. Talk about a rookie debut. Come on. Like, that was stellar. He is going in the 6th round, which is just a little bit too early for me.
Because he's more of a wide receiver 3 than he is wide receiver 2.
Yes, right. I don't know if I am drafting Miles Boykin or Willie Snead or anybody else. I think they're waiver wire fodder and bye-week fill-in. I think Willie Snead, he's getting up there in age, and so
he's the home run down the stretch, long ball once a game.
No, not anymore. Willie Snead now is your slot receiver who's taking the big hits because he's at the end of his career. Marquise Brown, Miles Boykin are your home run hitter style guys.
Tells you how much that I know about the guys who I'm not drafting.
Yeah, well, we're not gonna mess with them. So then we go to tight end. It is the Mandrews show. Mark Andrews, a top 4 tight end. That's just where it's at. He has a clear connection with Lamar Jackson. He is a value, and he's just gonna tear it up. He had one of the best tight end seasons of all time last year. It was crazy. Nobody's gonna mock you for a 4th round tight end pick if it's Mandrews.
Right. So the funny thing is that Andrews has a lot of high percentage stacked positive outlook on his position. He's actually considered, and some people are arguing that he's actually higher than Zach Ertz, going at the 3rd tight end, which I don't have a problem with that at all. And because the thing is like, listen to these numbers. This is absolutely insane. He actually accounted for 40% of all target shares amongst all the options that Lamar Jackson can distribute the ball to. He's looking 40% of the time at one man, Mark Andrews. And everyone else knows about Lamar Jackson and his capability. It's already been unfolded and unleashed last year. So if he does even anything close to that, at 30%, even 28%, he's still looking at Mark Andrews. I feel like he's looking at Mark Andrews first. He's actually the wide receiver 1.
I agree.
He's the first option.
I agree.
Not Marquise Brown. Not anybody else in the wide receiver core. So with that being said, it's almost like he steps back, drops, looks for Mark Andrews. If he's double teamed or he's not even remotely close, or he feels pressured, bam, he's running. Or, well, no, that's just it. He's running.
No, so, he does more than two looks. I think he goes. It's Mandrews, Marquise Brown,
like you said, Mandrews,
right?
As if there's like a relationship handle, like Mark and Andrews.
No, that is his nickname.
And we're calling it the Mandrews.
That's his nickname, is Mandrews.
I'm not calling him that. If the league's calling him that and the community's calling him that, they can call him that all they want. It makes me think that he's got some other thing going on.
He is Mandrews, and it goes Mandrews, Marquise Brown, and then you're looking for a run. But I think that, obviously very talented. Yes. Now, when we hop into this running back room, holy cow, do we have some problems, because there is just so much talent here. We've got Mark Ingram, we've got Jk Dobbins, we've got Gus Edwards, we've got Justice Hill. Justice Hill was a sleeper last year. People were so excited for. He did not work out. Gus Edwards, 3 years ago, workhorse back, but he is now a change of pace. Jk Dobbins, drafted last year, and Mark Ingram. Mark Ingram had a wonderful season. He was really, really solid. The problem is, if you take Mark Ingram, you have to draft Jk Dobbins. Because at some point this year, there is going to be a changing of the guard, and Jk Dobbins will be the workhorse back for the Baltimore Ravens.
Yes, I 100% agree with that statement. Mark Ingram is going around the 5th round. Would you say that Mark Ingram is your running? No, he'd be a running back 2.
I think he'd be for me. If I'm getting to him in the 5th round, it's our RB3.
RB3.
Because
he'd be your flex. He'd be your flex play then.
Yep. Because I'm going to have to also pay up for Jk Dobbins. As Mark Ingram wears down, you see Jk Dobbins step up and take over that work share.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Huge
I
talent.
don't think you're drafting Justice Hill. I don't think you're drafting Gus Edwards. It's just, Mark Ingram, Jk Dobbins, they are a pair. Do not draft Mark Ingram if you don't have Jk Dobbins. Jk Dobbins, now you could, in the 8th round, if the Mark Ingram owner is kind of like sitting on it, trying to get him in the 9th round, steal it. I think Jk Dobbins.
Oh, yeah, take the dude off who's got Mark Ingram.
Right. Take it, hold him. He's not going to start in the first couple of weeks, but I think that he's a very valuable asset for you later down.
That's right. All right. So the defense.
I like
very juicy defense.
I like the Baltimore defense. I think that they are a draftable defense. Yep. This is a shorter episode, but the issue is that this team is good. And so it's less to talk about.
You don't need us to persuade you to pick one of these players. It's like, look last year.
And so that's where we will close out this episode of Fantasy Football Free-For-All. And we will be back with the Pittsburgh Steelers, the worst organization in football.
I'm bringing a lot of fun and a lot of juice and a lot of good old black and gold in that episode. It's going to be sick.
All right. Have a good one, everybody. Peace out.
Stay classy.
Welcome to my least favorite episode of Fantasy Football Free-For-All. Today we are talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers. Talk about one of the least exciting teams in the NFL, in my opinion. Now we've got a homer over here who is about to go nuts. Aaron, I'll give you 30 seconds. Put your plug.
User Nation! Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. What's going on, everybody? All right, the most traveled, the highest traveled audience around the whole entire nation. You saw them over in stinking... Do we go to London? Well, if we would have went to London and played over in the UK, we would have been over there as well. The Bengals have actually learned, do not disrespect this sacred relic. It is a pastime all the way from the 70s. It has stayed with us. It is the holy grail of the Steelers, except for last year. What the heck happened last year? Last year was a complete nightmare. Ben, do not, like the O-line. This is a message to the O-line. Guys, seriously, DeCastro and that whole set, Pouncey, protect Ben this year. Like, obviously, we are built around the star, the future Hall of Famer of Ben Roethlisberger. Don't get him hurt. He's fragile now, which I understand why your argument into this is, well, then why are you all supportive of a team that only has one good player and that's it, or it's all based around one player? But whenever he's healthy, awesome things happen. I mean, it's like Tom Brady. Well, beside the Matt Castle year. Okay, that was my 1 minute plug.
Yeah. All right. So let's go through this efficiently. The only quarterback that's on this that is of any value is Ben Roethlisberger. I am personally not drafting Ben Roethlisberger in any league. He is too high risk for me as a fantasy football player. I think that as a real football team, like, he has value. But I think as a fantasy asset, he is too low. He by himself is not a fantasy football asset, in my opinion.
Well, when healthy, is he a QB1? Because whenever he is healthy, he is a top 5 quarterback every year.
I'm not willing to go. I'm not willing to risk it.
3 or 4 years.
I'm not willing to risk it.
So there's too much risk.
Yes.
I would rather. We saw it last year.
Yeah.
That once he gets hurt, especially that kind of injury, that was insane with the elbow and on that chest.
I would almost rather have Drew Lock.
Man!
Ben Roethlisberger is not a top 20 quarterback, in my opinion.
Okay, now I do agree. Okay, so Roethlisberger was drafted in the same year class of Eli Manning and Phillip Rivers. Eli Manning has now departed. and we still have Phillip Rivers and Ben Roethlisberger left from that draft class.
Time to retire.
I agree. I think the Steelers organization is ready for this move. Definitely 100% next year if Ben gets hurt again this year. The sad part is if Ben stays healthy, then Ben's going to fight and be like the Tom Brady Fountain of Youth 2.0.
No way.
And it's just going to be unfortunate. Well, no, Ben's a workaholic. He's got great work ethic. His problem is that his age shown last year has caught up to him now.
Yeah,
and so
he's a big guy. Like the issue here is that what we've got is they should be tanking to get a high draft pick so that they can have a quarterback in the wings. Their quarterback depth sucks. They've got Paxton Lynch, Devin Hodges, and Mason Rudolph. None of those are starting quarterbacks in this league.
None.
Never. So they need to have a bad year so that they can draft somebody of value. Because right now, the second Ben goes down, this team goes from potential competitor to Bengals level bad.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I don't want to agree with that because of the fact that obviously Steeler Nation bleeds black and gold all the way to the ends of the earth. But I have a bad feeling that if Ben goes down, we're going free agency. We're going into the market and trying to see who's out there. Like, I don't think anybody has any hope for Mason Rudolph and Devlin Hodges. Last year's circus was a complete nightmare.
Yeah,
absolute nightmare. And I'm shocked actually that we went 8-8 last year.
Well, that was a joke. Moving on to running back, we've got James Conner as the one. Benny Snell, Jalen Samuels, those are kind of the guys in the wings. James Conner is certainly a solid, great story, potential running back 2 in my book. He's going as a running back 1. I think that he does have some injury concerns, but he is good. Like, there's no doubt about it. If he comes out of you come out of the draft with him as your running back, I'm not upset with that. If you're running back 2, I'm not upset with that. Correct.
Yes, I 100% agree. 100% agree. Now, what about Anthony McFarland? He's an interesting story.
I have no interest in Anthony McFarland. Outside of those 3 guys, waiver wire pickups only. Benny Snell's going to have a job in this backfield. Jalen Samuel's going to have a job in this backfield. This is not a backfield that can support. I honestly feel this is the Willie Parker, Rashard Mendenhall story all over again, where James Conner's the forefront of the starting running back situation, just like Willie Parker was. And then all of a sudden, there's this guy named Rashard Mendenhall coming up in the rookie season being like, oh, yeah, he's okay. He's got some skill. We'll see what happens. And then bam, out of nowhere, he's forced to play and completely blows up. Who's Willie Parker now? So same story I think is going to happen here with Anthony McFarland. So that is a bold prediction. You think that Anthony McFarland is going to usurp?
Watch this. We can put this on the board right now.
We're going to lock it up.
Hold on. Yeah, we're going to lock this sucker up right now. I predict Anthony McFarland will be the starting running back come week 8.
Holy crap. I cannot wait for you to be wrong. Let's lock it up.
Let's lock it up.
All right, moving on. We've got the fullback. We are big fullback apologists. We've got Derek Watt, who is a very solid fullback.
Ooh, yes, we did pick up TJ Watt's brother. Yes, we did.
So, came over from the Chargers. Very solid. I think that will help the running back game.
I like the I formation.
Yep. And then, so now let's head over to possibly the most crowded wide receiver room.
There's a lot of potential over there. Good.
But there is no actual track record.
Wide receiver 1. Are you saying there's no wide receiver 1, true wide receiver 1?
There's no wide receiver 1, and I don't even think there's a wide receiver 2 in this.
Man. Juju Smith-Schuster blew up because of this guy 2 years ago. Good old AB, into which I'm surprised I haven't burned this yet. But when AB was sick and there was no drama in the locker room, actually we never knew that there was drama in the locker room, Juju was left alone, one-on-one coverage, and destroyed the secondary. It was disgusting. But that was 2 years ago. That was in the past. Last year showed that whenever he's double coverage, which that's pretty much what happened because the safety,
because you're a wide receiver one. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's true, but even solid wide receiver ones like your Devontae Adams, your Juju, your Julio Jones, your Michael Thomas, who the safety does cheat on that side, they still destroy double coverage. Yep. Juju cannot do that. I'm sorry, Juju. Just want to let you know, your stats were pathetic. The team was pathetic. That as long as we're staying lit, though, then that's all that matters. No, we need to have a different mentality in the locker room. We need to have a different repertoire with your wide receiver core. You got to be the leader of the wide receiver core. If you're a true wide receiver one, look at the Hines Ward leadership that he portrayed.
What I'm worried about is, okay, we've got a team that's in shambles. The second one player goes down, and that's
is a
the
shame.
problem. Yes.
Yeah, and it's a shame. It was unfolded, uncovered last year, and
It's
really
clear.
A shame.
It's clear.
It's yeah.
All right, and so other than Juju Smith-Schuster, we have James Washington, Deontay Johnson, and Chase Claypool. Deontay Johnson.
Notre Dame.
Deontay Johnson is a big guy. He is hurt right now. He is he is in his second year. He is certainly, there are high expectations. He got injured in training camp, so that is scary. We'll see what happens. Chase Claypool, rookie, another
6'5"
receiver.
He is the new Plexico Burress.
But the only way I'm taking them is like the latest of round flyers.
Oh,
I am
yes.
not
Yes,
getting
yes.
within. I took James Washington last year. I'm not doing that again.
Well,
listen,
again, the quarterback situation.
Right, but that's the issue here. The risk of these four receivers in any sort of meaningful draft spot isn't worth it to me. If Juju drops or James Washington and Deontay Johnson and Chase Claypool are available in the 15th round, fine. But
Juju's not going to be available in the 15th round.
Of course not. But what I'm saying is I'm not going to have any of them. I don't believe in this.
Okay,
this
so
team.
Juju is going around the 3rd round. Okay.
And I will have 0 shares.
I agree that it's really high for risk reward value.
I would rather have Gardner Minshew 100 out of 100 times right now. Yeah. So, listen, it's tough to be as wrong as you are. But when we're moving on to the tight ends,
terrible.
Eric Ebron is the tight end one out here,
and he's
or Vance McDonald. I'm not looking at either of these guys. Listen, if I've got concerns about the wide receiver room, I'm not going anywhere near the tight ends.
Tight ends, no. Steeler Nation's not really the organization that develops tight ends at all.
James Conner and the defense are the 2 bright spots on this team. These are the 2 bright spots on this team. Everything else is a hot pile of garbage. You're hearing me?
The only black and gold that's going to be bleeding on Will's roster will be a defensive position.
Or James Conner.
So, real quick, bold prediction. We're going to say, what if Roethlisberger is still healthy? What if James Conner is doing the numbers of 2 years ago? Which also then means that Juju Smith-Schuster probably is having a sick year, and everything is supposed to be working on all cylinders.
They're not making.
Are the Steelers
playoffs.
are the Steelers a wild card team? Because we obviously have both agreed that the Baltimore Ravens have owned this division. Will the Steelers be the wild card team?
No, they won't.
There's no. So then, who are we saying? The Browns?
No. I just think that there's more depth. I think the Broncos, the Chargers have potential to snake that. I think that you could see the Bills come in here and snake a wild card spot. I just don't think that. I think that the AFC is quite a bit deeper than you're giving it credit for. The Titans are obviously a solid team. I think the Texans may be improved. There are other teams that I'm interested in before the Steelers for a wild card spot.
Would you say then that the Steelers have to have a winning season in order to be the wild card?
Yes.
So 8-8 again won't cut it this year.
Nope. I think they have to have 10 wins.
Do you feel, okay, we're going to play this scenario then. Do you feel that if the Steelers do make the playoffs, they'll immediately get shut out in the first game?
Yes. And I think it'll be a bloodbath.
even though the Steelers would make the playoffs based on a healthy roster. So we're talking the healthy roster. So the risk is gone.
No, so the risk is still there. The risk is there every game.
Is still there. No, but they're established. They're healthy. Roethlisberger's throwing his 45. So when Roethlisberger is healthy, last time when Roethlisberger was healthy, he threw for almost 5,000 yards.
This is the look I give you. So that is what I'm looking at you with. I think this is a great place to end the fantasy football free-for-all. All
right.
With the bloodbath that is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.
We'll see ya. Stay classy.